refresh me.
Awesome. Yeah, mum's okay. Thanks. Svetlana and I had a call earlier. She's been through it. She's out. She's now moaning that she wants to come home, and I've told her to tush it. She's staying where she is. So yeah, welcome. We've got newbies. It's amazing. Like, hello.
Sorry, Svetlana's
but yeah, so for those of you who've never, oh, hello. Mine's downstairs.
I'm going to mute myself because I'm going to squeak otherwise.
No. I always make random noises. You just have to get used to them. Sorry. Yeah, so for those of you who have never been to Masterminding before or don't know how it works, basically the way that we run these sessions is you can, if you would like, there is no obligation, you are not forced into asking questions, etc. But if you do have a question that you would like to ask, then we get 15-minute slots, and you pop your name in the chat, and usually the lovely Amanda keeps me right. She's very good at making sure that I'm like, you know, on track. We make a little bit of a list and we just work through each of the questions. You get a 15-minute timer because I can talk, so I would like to get Carol's nodding and Roz is smirking because she knows what I'm like as well. We just set a little timer and make sure that we're not going to kind of run until midnight or something. But yeah, and then we just go around and answer questions. Obviously, it's not just me. If anybody else has any views and they want to sort of share, feel free. It's a very much a collective if anyone else has any views. So yes, the list is Roz. Thank you, Amanda. I love it. But does that sound okay? Is everyone all right with that? Yeah, I'm not going to change the format. I'm just being polite, typically British, just checking that everybody's okay with that format before we go. Hello, Dan. If we have the time, I'd like your opinion on the tracking, no tracking stuff. Yeah, Julie, so do you want to get, we'll have a chat about it after Roz. We'll put Julie's name down as well. And then, oh, Brenda wants to go first as well. Okay, no worries. We've got loads of time. Right, I'm going to find my timer. What I do ask is that if you're not chatting, just to go on mute, just in case, like, I don't know, the world kicks off.
No, it should work, I think.
Yeah, I can hear you. That's fine. It's not a problem. You don't have to go on camera. Like, it's not an issue. Like, even if you do have a webcam, that's really got it. But cool. Okay, right. Let me find my clock. Oh, it's already set to 15 minutes. Isn't that perfect? Right, Brenda, my love. Let's go. What can I help you with?
Hello from California. Thank God I figured out the time here. Amanda's
so glamorous. I love it.
West Coast with me too, I believe. Okay, I'm so glad to be here. I'm
so glad to have you. Thank you.
I have really not ever focused on sales, so I'm so grateful to be in business as long as I have been. So I can't wait to like get a process in and do some planning and things like that. So a few questions I have. So one of my challenges is I don't look at like going from one sale to what I offer them next and then next and next. Sometimes I do. It's not consistent. So for example, I just finished my challenge, smallest challenge I ever had, but literally spent 3 days promoting it, which this is what I do. I was focused on another program that I sold. And then I was like, well, but I have something coming up, so let me do that. So I definitely want to come up with a plan as far as how I do my next challenges. Often what I do is I'll do a video presentation challenge, and then I'll switch to a storytelling challenge, but not sure how long to do that, or if I should just be focusing on another, another video presentation challenge. So I sold 3, which was great since there were literally only 2 or 3 people who were active.
Yeah, epic conversion rate, not gonna lie. Even with the number of people you had in the challenge, I was like, that is a bloody good conversion. Like,
yeah, and I've always sold something, so I'm so done with doing this where I only have a small amount of people, even though this was the smallest, because I realize the next step is to just get more people in. So my question is, I have 3 people. I do think one of the people who is in the challenge would be something who would like to work more with me. If I'm the person who bought this 4-week kind of program, I think she would even want to do private coaching with me and stuff like that. I am like, how do I offer that without feeling like, oh, you just spent this money with me? Like whatever the mindset is or whatever, I want to be able to offer other things to her, because it sounded like she wanted other things with me. So I want to do that, but also not like deny all the other people I have on my list and stuff like that. I did see your message as far as my reaching out in email to people about potentially selling more. So I think that would be it. Like, how do I plan for my next thing and make another offer that is in sync, and then also offer to the people who are currently students. I also have students studying in a 6-week storytelling program with me that probably would want my one-on-one, but again, I feel so salesy, and I feel like I want to help them. It'll help them so much, but then I stop myself.
Yeah, I get that. And it is an extremely common thing that I hear all the time. Pretty much every single one of you, when you either applied or I've talked to you previously, has said something along the lines of, I really want to sell more, and I know that my clients probably want to work with me more, but I feel icky even suggesting it to them, because we've got this mindset that sales is all pushy, arsehole, suit wearing, Wolf of Wall Street, like, yeah, look at me kind of people. And the way that I want you to think about it is, when you're having conversations with a client, or whenever you're putting something forward to a client, you're doing it because you want to help them. You're not doing it because you want to make money. Obviously, we all do want to make money. Let's not pretend that we are in this because we are all, you know, fantastic humans that can live off of air, because we're not. And even the Nobel Peace Prize comes with a cash prize. So, you know, just saying. So when you think of it like that, the way that you then write things to your clients when you have conversations, either via emails or via kind of a message like conversation with them, it is a lot more clear to that person that you want to help them, you want to overcome something with them. And the difference between that and the more traditional ones is the messages that you get, which I have been bombarded with this week, because I did a challenge last week from another coach just randomly. And it's all the, are you going to invest in yourself? I took risks in my business. And I'm like, oh, good for you, love. Like, crack on. That's your business, not mine. It is the quickest way of turning me off of buying from somebody, is someone telling me, oh, well, you know, I did that. I'm like, okay, big whoop. Like, what do you want, a medal? Like, good luck.
You know what I think it is for me? I think I help people with making impact, right? So much of storytelling. It's like the mindset is something about, because I also am working toward raising my prices again. It's almost like I used to have higher prices and now they're lower. Like I've lowered them to work with the people I have, versus knowing that they're investing in someone, you know, they're investing more. I think the mindset is around, it's around like, I almost take on like they're going to judge me for a higher price or something like that. Like I give so much free content, you know? Yeah. So it's not so much like, it's not even that I'm being salesy, buy. It's almost like I feel like there's a disconnect between, you should be paying this to work with me with everything that I've invested. But of course that's not their thing, you know?
No, yeah. I'm actually, because I've also had this conversation quite a lot lately as well. I did a guest expert session in Alex's membership a couple of weeks ago, and I'm going to do it for you guys in the next couple of weeks. And it is, the title of it is Why Undercharging is Harming Your Clients. And it is all about that mindset shift of realizing that actually the less you charge, the more clients you have to take on to pay your bills.
Right.
And I I sent an email yesterday. I am going to share it with the group on Discord. I dropped a ball, a proper state, like, so everyone knows that, like, even salespeople fuck up when it comes to sales. I have a one-to-one client, and we were talking about continuing moving forward, etc., etc. And I bottled it when it came to giving in my prices, because I had exactly the same thing. My head was going, I really want to continue working with you. I am loving this. I'm seeing the growth. It is fantastic. And so I basically said to him, I was like, you go away, tell me what you want and what you think you want to pay, and then we can have a conversation about it. And the price that he came back was 10% of what I would have quoted him for.
Oh, wow.
And it wasn't, and I got the email, was extreme, I'm not going to lie, quite offended by it, because I was kind of like, hang on a minute, you know. But then when I looked at it properly, I realized that the rate that he had put down was a full-time employed person's rate, which, if I was working 37 hours a week, would have actually been a really nice salary and would not have been sort of to sniff at. But because he only wanted me for 1 day a month, it actually looked really horrible in terms of pricing. So I then crafted an email to him, went back to him and sort of said, look, this is why this is actually what my price is for what you want. And the reason behind this is because this is the level of access that you get to me. And it's also because he has seen all of my posts about the pack. So he knows the price that it is to get in here. And my one-to-one rate is not that price, not even slightly. It's got noughts on the end of it kind of level. So I explained to him that the difference is that the pack is one of my one-to-one clients. So everybody in the pack gets 46th of the amount of time, essentially, because that's how it, so as a result, that's why it then I can give that time to it. So from a pricing point of view, yes, you probably do need to increase your prices, because it's pretty much the universal thing for all of us, me included. My prices should go up, and you know, it's just the way we are. But when it comes to that selling thing, if it's from the challenge point of view, what I would suggest is, like I said on Discord, is keep sending the emails this week. They've got the deadline of Saturday. Now, I know some people are not fans of emails and they don't like them. What I will say is we're all adults. So if you don't like it, people just don't read them. Just delete them instantly. I'm on loads of mailing lists that I'm there just in case something comes through and I like it. But 9 times out of 10, the second it hits my email inbox, I don't even open it. I literally just select it and delete it straight away.
Do you have any suggestions for the post I would do on social media for the full price? You know, the program was $600.
Yeah. So what I would suggest
is bonuses.
Yeah. It's, don't worry about the fact that they're not getting any bonuses. That is the whole point of a challenge, is that people within the challenge get the bonuses. That is their incentive to sign up before you release it to everybody else. So don't fall into the trap of thinking that you then have to start throwing bonuses at everybody in the general public. Usually the general public number is a lot lower than the challenge signups, just because it's a bit more generic. You're fighting against everybody's posts rather than just your own, etc. But from what I've found, and also what I've been told, the way that I did it was I went, I'm making a big announcement at 4 o'clock. Who wants to know what my big announcement is, etc. As a post, everyone then goes, anyone who's in the challenge, then like Carol, etc., then posted, I think Amanda might have done it as well, sort of then went, I know what it is, because they know, they've been there, they like, it's pretty obvious. You run a challenge, you launch something, and then the week after, look at it to you. Then go live and do that super hyped up, excited. Oh my God, this is the best thing ever. I'm so excited about getting stuck in with people. Like, I know how much of a big shift this has made for my clients in the past. Like, these are the results, blah, blah, blah. And it's only like, you guys can now get in it. Is it a group program that it is, or is it self-learn?
It's self-learn, self-learn. But I just realized I just offered something to one of the people because she wants to practice live stream. So I'm going to open a private group. So that would be a reason to
there you
tell
go.
people. Yeah.
So it's one thing of sort of, yeah, this is what it is, you know, like this is amazing, you can take it at your own time, but you've got this, maybe if there is a support group or something, like you've got that. Just shout about how amazing it is, and then, you know, use things like it's only $600, like this is an absolute steal, it's amazing. And then straight after, basically just translate that hype and excitedness into a post that says, this is what it is, this is like the benefits, this is what you get if you want in, like this is the deadline if you want in, the links in the comments.
Okay, so I'll focus on that this week.
Oh God, there's loads of you.
And then
everyone's joining. I'm like,
and I'm sure my time is almost up.
Sorry,
oh, good. As far as now offering something more to the clients I already have in a storytelling and also in this program, is it just, maybe it literally is just that shift? Like I have a call, you know, I have my storytelling class later. It's just a shift of, instead of squeezing in the, oh, you can work with me one-on-one, saying, I just want to let you know there's 3 more weeks of this storytelling challenge and I want to.
That's exactly what it is. It's like me sort of sitting here with you guys and saying, look, there's no pressure, but did you know that I also have a VIP level? If you wanted it, just drop me a message. And, you know, if you want information about it, drop me a message and we can have a chat. It doesn't need to be any more than that.
Right. And I don't have to have all the specifics. And stuff.
No, you don't have to go into so much detail. I think people think, because we've been on like webinars and things where it's like a really detailed, like, here's the pitch, here's what it is. Most of upselling, exactly like I said during the challenge week, the majority of upselling is actually just telling people, is to say to them, if that is something that you fancy and that you would be interested in, just drop me a message. Like, I'm more than happy, most people are more than happy to answer a message if it's going to lead to more work. Like I'm okay with that. If you're just picking my brain for the hell of it, then there'll come a point. So yeah, just make it clear to them that there are other options. Sort of say to them, look, we are coming to the end of this. I know you might think that 3 weeks is a long time, but it's going to be here before you even know it. If you do want, you know, if there is something that you want to continue with either right now or maybe a little bit more in the future once you've had some time to process things, drop me a message. Let's have a chat now, because I don't do much one-to-one stuff. I only have limited spaces and I'm opening it up for you guys before I tell everybody else or something. You know, that's how you kind of make people feel a lot more special, is by sort of saying to them, you get access to this before anybody else. I'm not going to tell everyone in my wider audience. Like, it might even be that those ones that are on the storytelling, that's different to what you're now launching for?
Yeah, I have my storytelling classes, and then I'm now doing my video teaching, which is a digital training. The other one's a live class.
So it might even be one of those, just saying to them, look, so you guys know, this week I'm like, that is going through as well, just in case you haven't seen, like, you know, check out the posts, the emails coming and things. If you've got any questions, just drop me a message.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Because it then.
Great. Okay, thank you so much.
Is that all right?
Mm-hmm. Great, thanks.
Any issues, just tag me on Discord and I'll get to you as soon as I can. Okay? All right. Fab. Thanks, Brenda. Who have we got next? Oh my God. I'll have to ask mine next time. Oh yeah, we've got 2 people vying that have got to leave for 8 o'clock. So Roz has got a Rockstar Confidence Cruise thing as well, and Laura's got something as well. So do we want to ask questions but go for a bit shorter time and see if I can put both of them in? And I'll try not to over talk. I know that's it's not going to happen, but I'll try my best.
Have a bugle stick fight and see who comes out first.
Not getting the jello out, leave them, Darren, right? Then you leave them be.
You go first, Laura. I've got until 8, so if you've got to go at 1:45, you jump in quick.
Okay. I will go for
I'm talking away there. I was muted. I don't want to jump in though.
No, if you've got to go at 1:45, you go, lovely.
Well, thank you. I'll be quick as I can.
It's all right.
So yeah, my question is, obviously I've done challenges and they've been lovely and great. And my thing is like in between, like the things that I don't have to do a challenge for, or I don't need to do like a big massive build up. Like if I just want to put something out, like a replay of a masterclass or a passive program, like how am I going about selling that without having this massive like build up?
So the best way to do it is literally just post about it. I know that sounds really simple. But either send emails to your email list and be like, this is what I've got, like, you know, what I tend to say is if you've ran a challenge, so you will notice my challenge ended last week, I will give it 2 weeks before, at least 2 weeks before I start promoting anything else, because people get fatigued, people get sick to the back teeth of seeing me or anybody constantly going, buy my shit, because when you're in a challenge or when you're in a launch, that is the mode that you're in, because you have to be, it has to be a bit more kind of like, hi, I'm here, like look, because not everybody sees it, and because you've got a deadline, you have to post more regularly to obviously like fight the algorithm. So I tend to give it a couple of weeks of like, here's content, here's value, here's like emotional stuff, like build that trust up again. And then depending on what it is, I like to start with some sort of engagement style post to try and kind of get people thinking about the topic that you're about to address, like the problem that you're about to solve through what you're selling. And then be like, ta-da, like, oh, did you know that you can get this? If it's one-to-one sessions, if it was like power hours or readings or something like that, doing limited number of slots at a certain price is a very good way of selling them, because it again uses that like sense of urgency that you get through challenges. And it means that, you know, if you release say 5, even if you're selling a masterclass, you can still do that and say, right, for the next 10 people, this is the price, like get it quickly, like go and buy it, like get it. And then if 3 people instantly go and be like, oh my God, wow, 3 people have already grabbed it at that price, like there's only 7 left, make sure you get in quick, kind of thing. And then you just up the price a little bit. It doesn't need to be like huge amounts, but essentially all of us, because as we grow, we want the price of things to go up until we get to that sweet spot where like it's just nice, and then we give a little bit of a discount every now and then so that we sell more. What is your masterclass like? Tell me a bit more about it quickly.
So my masterclass, so I've literally got my own system that I've put together using astrology, color theory, chakras, like all this to give like readings and guidance. And I've done masterclasses on it before. My last one, I sold out like 16 spaces, which was like freaking amazing. I was really chuffed with that. So my next one I've done based on the same concept but a different subject, which is like using color to welcome in financial abundance. And so far I've got like 3 on that one, and I'm like, where am I going wrong? Like, what's happening here? So I think maybe I need to shout about it. But I think my problem is actually making like a calendar, like planning what I'm going to sell, because at the minute it's just a bit sporadic, and I'm like, what do I need? I'll put that out, and then I'm kind of like, shit. So having the build up isn't there because I haven't got that plan of what I'm going to sell.
Consider it done.
Okay, thank you.
October might be quite busy, people, because I've got quite a few things on this list, but you know, you don't have to watch them live. You can obviously catch up afterwards. But I think it is something, so it's I have a program all around writing a full strategy for stuff. But the one thing actually that is missing from it, come to think of it, is how to spread things out and what to kind of do in between. So I'll do that in here as a masterclass, because then I can add it to my program as well. Oh, yeah, exactly, Emily. We'll create a nice fancy, actually, you say spreadsheet, I think Gantt chart. There you go. That'll make you. Emily's like, oh, Gantt chart. Okay, so because I actually had this conversation, oh God, I can't write and think at the same time, plus my husband's home. Okay, it's fine. things to sell through the year. Hey, Smelly. Cool. So, oh God, there's another person. Jesus, there's loads of you tonight. I don't know what a Gantt chart is. Literally just a spreadsheet that has blocks for when you're supposed to do. It's just a plan. It's just a fancy thing that, yeah, spreadsheets. What was the same? Yeah, so basically the way that I recommend to people is think about for 12 months, just purely so that you know, where do you want to be at the end? Like, how many of each thing do you want to do? Do you want to run 6 challenges, 4 challenges, 3 challenges? Like, how many do you think you have capacity for within your business on your own energy levels? I base mine on 3-month blocks. So I go challenge, like, no, I have like a month off, a month of prep and promo, challenge, month off, prep, promo, challenge, prep, promo, like that. So that's how I work, because I can't, even though I have a 12-month plan, if I was to sit and look at where I want to be in 12 months, my brain goes, no, and just stops working. So I only work in 3-month sprints, because that then allows me to focus on something that's much closer to where I want to be, rather than looking at, you know, oh, well, I want to earn 100 grand, or I want to be on 10k months or something. It, to me, my brain then goes, well, hang on, how am I gonna, like, oh, like, I can't. Whereas if I went from when I started, if I'd have gone, well, I want 10k months, it would never happen. Whereas if I go, okay, well, I actually want 2k months, and then 4k months, and then 8k months, and then 10k months, and I can break it down and think logically, okay, now what do I need to add to that to move forward?
Yeah. So I think for my scheduling, the thing for me, so in August, I launched a 3-month program, which started in September. So I'm like in the middle of this 3-month thing now. And I've got masterclasses, but then I'm kind of like, I've got people in my membership, I've got people on this 3-month thing. And in my head, I'm like, well, if I launch this, those people aren't going to buy that, because that's going to crop. And then I'm like cancelling myself out, and I'm a bit like, shit.
And that's where I have Des's voice in the back of my head that just goes, audience growth. Because you guys aren't going to buy the pack again, because you're here, hopefully for the long haul. You know, yeah, bye-bye. And the people who have bought my program won't buy my program again, because it's got lifetime access, and you know, you can't go in, like, once you've got it, you don't need to buy it again. But there are ways of like monetizing it. So you can monetize like the support group for the program, so that can become like a subscription service if you have a support group, etc., like Des does for recurring revenue. You can also then obviously go, anyone in the program can buy your membership, and vice versa. So they're not, if they're different, and they're different trainings, and the same with things like masterclasses, etc. Like, you guys have access to everything in here while you are in here. The second you leave, you don't have access to any of those trainings anymore. So people could go and buy them, but it's about like a value, like it's about this ladder and taking people on this journey. So they come into your world, then they probably buy something small, like a masterclass or a workbook or something. Then you want them to buy, like, move up towards maybe a power hour or something one-to-one, then like either a group program or a self-learn longer course. It's kind of pushing things through. I have an analogy. It's all about balls. Darren will start giggling, which I can take you through during that plan as like a little kind of teaser of what's in the full program, but enough to be able to help you plan how to do things. But if you're not in a challenge and you're not doing a full launch, you can either do like a live event on your profile, just like for 3 days or something, just sort of talk about it and try and sell it. But that will only work if you've got a limited amount of time that you're selling it for.
Yeah.
If it's just something that's passive, just talk about it. Just tell people that it's there.
Yeah, I've put out again. So like last year, it was a live 7-week program, and now like I've resold it a few times. But now I've put it out probably like, I'm not going to say the highest price, because when I said this about a program before, Darren was like, it's not the highest price, it's the, was it, you said the best investment, something like that, I think.
I
And
can't remember that.
something like that, yeah.
I've been to bed since.
But like I've put it out, and I have put like a 48-hour, like if you sign up within 48 hours, you get like a bonus, because it's like a meditation program. You
Right.
get a bonus meditation audio within. So there is like an urgency bit to it, but I'm kind of like putting it out there, and maybe I need to just put it out there more, and it will be well.
Yeah, the other thing is make sure even if you, like, as you're putting it out there, make sure you're also growing your audience, so new people are seeing it.
Yeah, I think that's a big
Otherwise
thing
it's just
for
the
me.
same people saying the same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah, I'm noticing a lot of my sales and people are like, it's the same customer, which is good because they obviously like it and they're coming back. But trying to grow my audience, because I've got a lot of like good platforms for getting new people in, but they're coming in and then they're like not spending the money, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it does take time. So I think the stat used to be that something like 5 years ago, it only took like 6 or 7 interactions for people to buy, and now it's over 20, 25.
Wow.
Because we're so bombarded with information every single day, that they need to see you, which is why everybody, like all these, like every branding, visibility, marketing coach will always say you need to be posting. It doesn't necessarily always need to be a sales post before anyone starts panicking, because my view is that every post you put out is a sales post.
Yeah.
Every time you're posting, you are selling to people. You are telling people what you do, how good you are, building some sort of emotional connection with them, showing testimonials, etc. All of that is sales. So when you then worry about I'm actually selling and putting a link and making like want people to buy, it takes a little bit of that edge off, because you realize that you're just constantly selling all the time. Every time you have a conversation with someone, you're selling, because you're building a relationship, you're building a connection with somebody.
Yeah, that's me.
Which
Thank you very much.
Is that helpful though?
Yes, very much so. So I'll take that on board, and then when I speak to you next time, I will be okay.
Fab. Well, you know where we are. You've got Discordy, whatnot. So feel free to pop stuff in there if you need help as well.
Thank you. I will hang about for another 7 minutes, and I'll see you next. So thank you so much, Hannah.
No worries, darling.
Was that the international hand signal for Discord?
There. Fab. Ros, my love. Yeah, if anyone else wants to be added, Amanda's being my amazing, she's my uber glamorous assistant. Okay.
Hello.
Ros, my love. What can I do for you?
I'm going to start at the beginning. It's a very good place to start.
It is, Julie Andrews.
You have alluded to the fact that you might be able to find the hidden gems in people's businesses to make them more money.
Yes.
So you know what I do. What I need at the moment is to be able to focus on one thing,
right,
and be able to tangibly implement that, just that, to have something to focus on. So it's got a goal, a target.
Yeah.
So I know I'm doing something rather than just kind of floating around posting the odd thing, thinking,
just listening to the wind.
maybe someone will buy from me this month. Do you know what I mean? So I need some focus.
You mean my sales strategy?
Whip cracking and and so that's what I'd like. That's what I need. I'd be like, okay. Right. And I love the idea of this planner. So I'm like, right, October, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Which is going to lead to this, and so on and so forth.
So how are the power hours going for you at the moment?
Absolutely zero.
Right, okay.
Even though at the moment, that's what all my posts are for, my power hours. I mean, it's only been the last week or so. And it's maybe one post, maybe 2 a day. So, I'm not throwing it.
Yeah, we don't
too much out there.
Exactly. And we don't want to go too hard, like, because we don't want to be kind of just like with things like power hours and stuff, because it's not necessarily a time sensitive thing, it's an offering that you have. You don't need to go too hard on the whole kind of like, here's 5 posts a day and like buy my shit, because it's just people sit there and go, no, I'm good, like I don't want that. So what I think maybe, so it's only been a week, so we're okay with that. Have we got a have we put, like, we like ring fenced a certain number for the value that you're selling them for?
No, but I just caught that, so I've made a note of that to do that.
So
I haven't yet.
So what that does is not only does it, so when we talk about pricing, and this goes for everybody, whenever you are selling something, it's something that I learned in corporate because I got caught out by it, is we want to make sure that every time we put a price into the world, right, there is a very clear box around what that price is for and how long that price is available for. Okay, because then it then allows you to constantly increase your prices without people coming back and going, oh, well, I clicked on a link that was from 2014 where Brenda was doing our coaching sessions for $30 and now she's trying to charge me $600 an hour or something, and you're like, yeah, but that was 8 years ago. Like, no, it's not. That's not how pricing works. So it allows you to be able to easily scale your prices without having that icky non-integrity kind of feeling. And that also translates for your customers, because they don't then sit there and go, oh, well, she's just suddenly randomly put her prices up, which you are well within your rights to do. I could wake up tomorrow morning and go, right, fuck it, everything's double, like it or lump it. What it also does is it helps you to find what I call the sweet spot for an offering for your current audience by selling at a certain value for a certain number, and then increasing it slightly and selling another bunch, and then increasing it again and selling another bunch. And when those sales start to do that, then we know we found that perfect spot for where you are at the moment. And then as your authority grows, as your audience grows, that number will then go up again. And then it does this, the price kind of, and then you get to the point where, like, I mean, there's sales coaches in the world that literally sell power hours for $10,000. I don't know how they sleep at night, but they do.
When I first started promoting my power hours, I did it in the summer and said, for the month of July, I'm going to be selling them at, I think I put them on there for £49.
Yep.
Which, that's okay, that's fine. But I still didn't sell any at that price. So I haven't put the price on this time on any of my posts. I haven't said, because I wasn't quite sure, I didn't want to say, oh, they're still £49, because last time I did the thing where they're never going to be this low again.
Yeah, I get that.
So I didn't want to.
You don't want to then feel like you've kind of gone the other way, or people are
I
going to go. I
didn't then want to put them actually less than that to see if the sweet spot would be less than that, because I don't want to sell myself for less than that.
Perfect. Well, we found the floor, which is good, because the floor is always a very good place that we need to find, because it's very tempting. And I really, really want to like just shout how amazing it is that your brain is going, no, it is, the value is there, like that's fine, because the instant reaction of most people when things don't sell is to just lower the price, and it's not, very, very rarely is the price the problem. Most of the time it's the audience or the positioning. It's not the price that's the issue. So I actually did reply to you on Des's Discord before, where obviously I know that you've had the thought about the business stress side and helping people from that side. I personally love that angle for you, because you have a huge network of business owners. I know the brain thinks, oh, well, depressed mums who've got loads of time on their hands, and they're because there's all these groups of like moaning mums of Myrtle Grove or something, like They're everywhere on Facebook. There's just millions of them. It's very easy to think that that is, oh, I should target them. Realistically, business owners have more money because they're running a business. So realistically, how you can do it is then targeting things like, how much more productive will you be by reducing your anxiety around X? How much more productive will you be if I can give you techniques to help with your focus, to help you get rid of that brain fog on a morning, so that you can hit the ground running when you're starting your day, etc. They're also people who are very, very acutely aware of burnout, because it is something that maybe people haven't experienced, but they hear people like me shout about what a joyous time it is to go through burnout. Not recommended, like 0 out of 10, do not recommend. It's not, like, maybe to some people, like my ex-employer, I would recommend it to him, but there we go.
So I'd like to find out from whom I can find out more about what people think and feel about being stressed in business,
Yep.
what burnout feels like, and their view on how to
Those sorts of
prevent
words and
it,
things,
and
that,
the right words that I can then connect emotionally with my audience to be able to sell it right, to say, this is what I'm going to help you with. But at the moment, I don't know enough about it myself to be able to fully empathize with it all.
Yeah, so there's a couple of
larger scale anyway.
Yeah, a couple of ways that you can do it. The first one is to utilize the network. So exactly what you've done in the BBS Discord, but post everywhere. So asking in the pack Discord, asking Rockstar Confidence Crew, to say to them, like, what, like, have you ever been through it? What things do you wish that you'd had there? So I wished that I had somebody who saw those signs, and so that I could stop it before it even got to the point that, way before the point of burnout. People don't even want to, because by the time you are at the point of tipping, it's too late. That's it. It's not going to happen. What you need to do is be targeting people who are at the point where they are starting to scale their business rapidly, or maybe they've pivoted into a new market, etc., because that's when you're running challenges, for instance. That's a hard time because your brain is 100% focused on that, and it's very difficult to have any self-care because you're only thinking about, I need to do this needs to be perfect, everything needs to be good. But having somebody like you in the corner to say, actually, it's okay, like, it doesn't matter if an email doesn't go out before a live video, it's fine, no one's gonna die, nothing's gonna, like, the world isn't going to implode. How do we then deal with it so that you can then go on your live and you're not full of anxiety, full of stress, and that, because that translates, especially on a Wednesday. Imagine you're on a challenge and no worries, Laura, you get the replay, don't worry. But it's about helping people have those feelings of, I'm okay, everything is all right. Like, even if shit comes at me from all directions.
People would prefer a personal power hour for this, or do you think they'd be more likely to join a group that's at a lower cost?
I think there's nothing wrong with testing both. I think running it as a masterclass actually could work quite well, because it's a group environment. People are kind of, maybe more likely to sort of, actually, it's one of those things. Some people, so me, for instance, I wouldn't have an issue sitting on a masterclass. Bye, Dan. Because it's something that I talk about. People know that I have been through that. They know that it is part of my story, and they know that, like, I've been there. There will be some people, very much like when I was talking to Hattie about her power hours and saying, or her masterclass, and saying maybe people who suffer from depression and anxiety don't actually want to be in a group environment. Some people don't want to admit that to other people and would prefer something.
So by targeting business people, who might all be feeling the same way. I mean, might all be feeling it right now, but just
Yeah.
not admit it. There
I
wouldn't
think
be as
power
much
hours is probably
embarrassment
better.
to be able to
Yeah.
join in.
Yeah, because if you think when you join communities, etc., and you spend loads and loads of time promoting yourself and showcasing how you're amazing and you know you're the person that people can go to help, where do you go when you want help? It then becomes very difficult when you become that person within a community that everybody looks to for support, especially emotional, etc. It can then be very difficult to be vulnerable in that community and get the same level of support back from people. So exactly, Carol's just made a fantastic point. A masterclass will be good for people before, like way before that point.
Yeah.
People who want to work on their mindset as they are scaling their business, to put tools and things in place before they even need them, so that that toolkit is there that they can call on constantly. Whereas people that are a bit closer to that line and are really feeling it, they're going to want one-to-one support, because they're not going to want to admit it to everybody else. And they're also going to need a lot more support from you, because it's very personal, it's for their circumstances, etc. So there's two things you could do right now. We can either, well, actually, there's two things we can do at the same time. So for October, let's come up with some, or at the beginning of October, so for the next couple of weeks, let's come up with some proper punchy first lines for those power hour for business people who are maybe like, are you about to run a challenge? Do you want a power hour to make sure that you are properly like ready to kick ass, take names, and you know, turn your challenge up to 11.
See, this is where a little bit of imposter syndrome sneaks in, because I've never run a challenge myself. So I don't know how they're going to feel about it, like from their point of view specifically. Does that matter?
So if you want to do, so from a market research point of view, that's where you can either reach out to some people who have run challenges and ask them, what sort of feelings did you have, 3 weeks beforehand? Is there some, would it have been beneficial for you? Just a market research conversation. You're not trying to, most market research conversations then do end up in, oh, well, if you want to book one, here's the link, just FYI. Because there's nothing wrong with that. Most of us, well, if you run one challenge, the likelihood is 3 months later, you're going to be running another one. So reach out to a couple of people, ask the question if you're not getting answers on the Discord channels, etc. But I'm pretty sure people will. Like I answered you on
thank you. I just haven't looked back
no
on
no
it
it's
yet,
all right. I
but
know
I will.
you're a busy woman, it's fine. But what I said is that use things like there's a website called Reddit, which is really good for like market research. And also Des's thing that she says for competitor and market analysis, which is looking at Amazon book reviews. So type in things like stress in the workplace and but like corporate burnout, all of those buzzwords and stuff that can kind of, or Cora, yeah, right, yeah, that's right, Emily. I forgot the name of what the other one was. Our marketing manager in my last business got sacked because he spent 80% of his time on Cora. Not answering marketing questions, answering questions about the NFL. I was like, well, that wasn't smart. One sec. Yeah, of course you can. They can't see you anyway. As long as you've got clothes on, it's fine.
While Hannah's talking to the naked person.
It's got clothes on.
So what we were saying the other day, hold on, yesterday, I think. I have no idea what day it is now. So, imposter syndrome. All these things about, will people like it? Will people want to do it? It's all up here. That's all. That's the only place those thoughts reside. They don't reside in reality. They reside up here in your noggin. And like they start off as this little tiny little nugget, and it's like, oh, it's all cute. And then they grow into this big fucking venom monster, which I can't wait to see next week.
I'm going to.
That's because that's what they do, right? And unless you're going to do a challenge that is like who can do the biggest poo, that even rhymed, that was pretty cool actually, then what you do, people are going to love.
Yeah,
it's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. What you do, like when we said the other day, what you do, people need more now than ever. We've just gone through 18 months of shit, and people need what you provide. People need what you can create in their lives. And remember when I said you give people hope? That is the word that people need right now, and your challenge can do that. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
So get out of your own head. Doesn't
You're
matter.
welcome, honestly, and the fact that you are you, and you are different, and you have that approach, and you are much more like, you're much more approachable. You're a normal person rather than like when I went through like being honest in the 2 minutes that you've got before you go and watch Marie Claire take silly photos of herself, is that it's when you're in, especially if you're in like the corporate world or the B2B world, it is a place of the traditional stiff British upper lip, because especially in sales, because if you admit that you are near burnout, you are admitting weakness, and basically the people in your department will then start stealing your clients. That's how it works. It's because they sense the weakness and they're like, aha, I'm going to capitalize on this and take it away from her. And it's very similar in online businesses from what I have seen in the last year, that sometimes things on Facebook become like talking therapy, and everybody wants to like, oh, I'm going through this, and oh, I'm going through that. Actually, what it does is it shows you competition, or it shows other people in your area that there's weakness and that they can capitalize on it. And as horrible as that sounds, it's true. So what you are doing is you are helping people to not get to the point where anybody can sense any weakness. They can't, they're getting rid of that fear. You don't have to worry about your competitors stealing your clients because you're too tired to turn up on a live because you've been up all night with anxiety. You're going to help people grow their business and make a shit ton of money because they are present, because they are clear, because they've got that clarity, they've got that confidence, that focus, etc. And if you can spin it to tell business, like basically anything that you're selling to business owners is tell them that it is going to make them more money.
That's just gone ping. That's it. That's what I can tell them. And I never realized before that what I do could help somebody to make more money. A year ago I was taught that it was relationships, sex or money, and I was like, I don't really know any of them really. Could be anything. Money. But bingo.
Yeah, business owners, that is the problem that you solve. You make them more money. The problem that they have is that they are worried that they're not going to make any money. It's that anxiety,
and that causes more stress and anxiety. There it is.
So what I would suggest for you, my love, is ask the questions. So it's not just, but it is all around money, realistically. But ask what sort of buzzwords and things do people, what words would resonate with them? Is there specific things? For me, it is getting that clarity, getting that confidence, getting that being self-assured, like not going into something thinking, oh shit, this isn't going to work. Like if you go on a challenge live, I know it's now over 8 o'clock, but I'm going to carry on for 2 seconds and then I'll shut up.
There's me going, I'm never late for anything.
Yeah, just blame me, like realistically, like it's fine. But you think it's Wednesday, it's 5 o'clock, you're doing your, that's like, it's crackerjack. Sorry, it's you're getting ready to do your 7 o'clock live on your Wednesday of your challenge, which we all know is pitch like live. Everybody pitches on a Wednesday night on a challenge. If you're sat there rocking backwards and forwards, riddled with self-doubt, panicking that no one's going to buy your shit off of you, that energy translates to your pitch. And everybody who's watching it then goes, well, why am I going to buy that? Like she clearly doesn't like believe in what I'm putting forward, like what she's putting forward, like, oh no. And then that just self-manifests, because you tell everybody that they shouldn't buy because you're not confident in it, so that they don't buy. So then you feel worse, so nobody buys, and it's just self-fulfilling prophecy. Whereas if you go into every single transaction, every single sales post you write, every time you have a conversation with someone thinking, I am fucking good at what I do, these people are going to benefit from having it in their life. And also, I don't need you to buy it. I'm so good that I've already made 10K today. I don't need to make a sale, but I'm confident enough that I'm going to, because this is really good. That translates. And that's how you get people to buy from you. So if you can give somebody that confidence and remove that self-doubt and help with that anxiety and help with that stress, that's cash money in the bank.
Boom.
Here's a TV reference. Do you want to be from oh my God, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? Do you want to be the robot, or do you want to be Zaphod? So
Yes.
oh my God, everything's
Ross
tough.
is like, what the fuck are you on about?
The answer's 42.
Exactly. Well, that should just be a post. Buy a power hour, the answer's 42. Boom. But
Thank you so much. Yeah, brilliant. Really good.
All right, my love.
I'm going to go down that avenue, and because why not? Let's play.
What's the worst that's going to happen? We'll come up with some first lines, you know, like we
Yeah.
talked about in,
Yeah.
come up with some first lines, put them into Discord in the pack,
Okay.
and we can help with,
that'll be
yes,
good.
that one
Thank you.
resonates, that one's helpful. Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
All right, lovely.
Thanks, Darren. Bye, everyone. I got to run. I'm late. Bye.
Right, one sec. Amanda's asked a question as well. Just got a DM from a guy asking me about dev work, and now that he's aware of my MBA and my PM certificate, he's just said, when can you start and how much do you want? I'm gonna have to crunch some numbers. Get that calculator out. We love those clients that like, I want it. How can I, like, how much do you need? Okay, Julie.
Yay!
I've been staring at your stuff all day. I genuinely have. I'm not even, or I said that I was never spiritual, and then now I'm going down paths that I've never been down, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty. Like, oh, this looks cool. So yeah, there's definitely going to end up being some purchases from this one here.
So I have to speak. I am sorry about my pronunciation. I haven't speak English for ages. Basically, my issue is about pricing and shipping pricing, because I don't know if I should put the tracking on each international order.
Mm-hmm.
And if I do, I double my shipping cost. But if I don't, I have several issues, and customers are not happy because they choose the cheapest option. Mm-hmm. Then 1 week later, they ask me for the tracking, but they didn't take it. So I have to explain that if they don't buy it, they don't have it. And it's super stressful for me, and I'm paralyzed, and I can't take any strong decision.
Yeah. First of all, your English is brilliant. Before you make any sort of, like, your English is better than mine. Like, mine sucks sometimes. Darren's like, yes, Hannah's English is shit. So please never worry about that. Your English is amazing.
Really nice French accent.
I can't. Well, I was going to say she sounds much nicer than I do. So there we go. From the shipping point of view, so I've had a look through today. I personally would be adding tracked shipping to anything international automatically.
Okay.
I know that is a lot of work for you, but I think that And the way that you put that on wording, so if you wanted to make a post about it on your Facebook page, etc., is to say that it's because you want to make sure that that item gets to people properly, and that people can track it and they know that it's going to arrive safely, etc. Because the amount, I mean, it's €6. That is cheap for tracked shipping.
Okay.
It's not expensive. If it is the smaller items and you were worried about that, then maybe, like Jane said on Discord, have a think about bundles and saying to people, if you order more than one item, then obviously is shipping the same price if they order 2 or 3 as it is if they order 1, or not?
I can communicate about that because it's about the weight of the package.
Okay, yeah.
So
yeah.
if it's under 100 grams, it's the same price. I can't put it like that. It's not an issue.
Right. Okay. So yeah, but for me personally, and I, as an international buyer, I would prefer to pay the amount and know, especially with everything that's going on, you know, there's a lot of shipping issues and packages being held up in customs and things, not from you, but for everything.
Yes.
So I think you can make that statement to your audience and to your market and say, I'm doing this because I want to protect you guys. I want to protect my buyers, to make sure that we as a buyer and a seller can track things and know where they are. Whereas for an extra €3 is nothing. It's so much peace of mind for people, and so that's personally what I would do if I
okay.
would do.
And I'm sure it will be excuse me, it will be a relief for me, because it's so stressful, it's so much mails, and I don't want to deal with that for Christmas. Thinking about it, it's a nightmare. I don't want it. And I guess maybe I'll sell multiple items more often, which is what I am looking for. Yeah,
I think you will. And I think if there's, like you say, if you can write that it's done on weight, so if there's, you know, it won't be double the price, because I know from shipping things, like the price goes up a little bit as the weight does, rather than the first bit is like the expensive thing, isn't it? Usually it's kind of not.
Yes.
Anyway.
I can put this information on Etsy and on my website as a FAQ. Does it sound like a good idea? Because if I put it in the description, it's not linked to the item directly.
No, pop that in frequently asked questions. Definitely. I think that's a great answer and a great idea.
Okay, I want to do it tomorrow. I don't want to wait anymore. I waited for 1 year. I don't want to wait.
Okay, well, I think it will help, and I think you can, like I say, you can make a big point to your Facebook and to your audience and wherever else, you know, of saying that you are doing this because you want to make sure that your customers get the best service, and that comes through tracked outside of France, outside of, you know, for international, it's tracked to make sure that you know that things are going to arrive. And I think if you tell people that's why you're doing it, which is why you're doing it, because you don't want people not receiving their orders and having a bad experience, etc., they will understand. And those who don't, sod them.
Okay.
Okay,
okay.
Okay, lovely.
But that's all for me. That's exactly what I was looking for. Thank you so much.
No worries, honey. Okay. Right, my love, do tell me how I pronounce your name, because I have butchered it so many times on a live video. I'm going to get it
Christiane.
wrong. Christiana, right, okay, that is not what my head said, but I appreciate that. Won't get it wrong now, or well, I probably will, but I'll try not to.
Not often that people do it, say it right, so I really appreciate it.
That's all right. Okay.
Okay, so I'm really very new in this, and I have a big problem with selling. So I'm a Pilates instructor and a life coach, and I'm trying to combine both by using the Pilates principles and put them into life coaching, because they're all part of it. Concentrate, breathing, focus, and so on. They're all part of daily life anyway. So I thought about power hours and everything like this, and I thought I'm actually putting the cart in front of the horse, because I have a group, but nobody's engaging in there apart from my regular clients I have already in my Pilates class. So those are the only people I'm speaking to. But like you said earlier, they don't buy from me again, and they're not joining my Pilates classes because they're already in there.
Yeah.
And so for me, I think the most important thing is actually increasing my audience. And I don't know really in my email list. I mean, I have an email list of 90 people, but they might just live on Mars, because there's no, that there, it's such an old list and nobody really comes back from it. And they're all South Africans. I need British people. I live here now. Or at least European people, you know. No.
Yeah.
And so I want to ask, if I today, for example, I tagged on my private Facebook post a lot of people, which I put A in and found out who was on my friend list and tag. Is that tacky, or does one do that? Or does one only do this in the group?
Yeah, I would personally, I wouldn't tag people in posts, just because it's the same with live videos. Like, inviting people into lives rather than tagging them then works better. Just because it is one of those things, if that then people just go and untag it if they're not interested. They'll just be like, ugh. And it might be seen as, or like some people will see it definitely as kind of like, oh, why am I being tagged in that? I don't need to be tagged in it.
Yeah.
But what you can do is then ask, like, you can post the link in the engagement channels for people to see. The more you're posting, the more people will see. So then they will start to interact. And if it's about trying, like, don't worry too much about how many likes or how many like loves and things, because people will still see it even if they're not interacting with it. Okay, people
I often have in my group like 23 people seeing, but not a single person liked it. Yeah,
which it's not uncommon. I've got 4,500 friends on Facebook, and I very rarely get more than 20 people liking a post that I'll put up. So there are, like, from a numbers point of view, it's a tiny amount of people who are ever engaging, and most of the time they are my existing clients. They are not new people that are liking, but people still see. So people will still see things. There are lots and lots of people who just don't interact with stuff on Facebook. They don't interact. They just kind of read it and go, oh, that was nice, and carry on scrolling. Or if they're interested, then they click the link. If we're talking about sales posts, we actually don't want people to interact. We want them to buy. We want them to just click that link and go straight towards buying something. So what I would suggest is to try and utilize your group, and also to get more people into it, because that is a great way of funneling people into offers and things that you're selling. From an email marketing point of view, obviously you want to then try and create something like a lead magnet, so that people can get that little bit of freebie in exchange for their email. And then the target is to try and be emailing sort of once a week or something with value, not just sales posts, but value. And then obviously at the bottom, you can always put, if you want to book in a power hour, here's the link. Or, if you want to work with me in some way, here's how you can do it. So what I would suggest is kind of trying to use that group a little bit. How many have you got in your group? Is it
191, but there were 130 from an old challenge from 2 years ago, and I just took that group, just recreated that group.
Right, okay. And so what I would suggest is just kind of trying to increase the engagement in there. So what sort of things do you post in that group?
Generally like questions of, now I'm going totally blank, but I'm posting there.
All right.
Rachel's 52 things.
Okay.
So I tried that a couple of times. Then Katie posted one in the VIP lounge.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that, and then general things. Do you have back pain? Can I help you with this? Or did anybody feel totally overwhelmed yesterday as well? Can I help you with that? Or anything also out of my story, what I can give them value, because that is the value and the wisdom I have.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I try and more now colorful posts with a background and then just one sentences. And then like today I put on my Facebook profile, would you like to see what it looks like to work with me?
Mm-hmm.
And the link is in the bottom. And then I posted a link to book with me a free class. Nice. And well, nothing came out of that, but it's worth a try.
Yeah, it's all of these things are like, you will hear me say this so much in this membership, but sales is a marathon, not a sprint. So everything does take time. It isn't the sort of like all these people that are claiming that you just post one thing and then all of a sudden it's like raining money. They're lying. It doesn't work like that. Sometimes it does. Sometimes things do go quicker, but it's not. Sorry, Julie says she lives 1 hour in the future. I'm like, I like that. So she's going, she lives 1 hour in the future. Is to think it's about kind of like constantly, like I was saying before, people need to see things so many more times now through Facebook than they used to when it came to buying stuff. So what I would suggest is trying to grow that Facebook group. So telling people about the group and why they should be part of it and why they should be part of that thing. Look at creating yourself a lead magnet so that you can grow your email list as well, because that's a really good way, especially with what happened this week and with Facebook and Instagram and WhatsApp going down. It is so important to make sure that you have access to people outside of Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram.
Okay.
Because they might have documents they need to delete again, and then just turn them off for a couple of hours. Not that I'm cynical and that's what it probably was, but it's probably what it was. So I would do that, and I would try and grow it that way, because then people will start to interact more just organically rather than you tagging them or those sorts of things. Okay, and
so to my email list. So so normally the email list grew by people then opting in for my blog or something like this on my website. Now I've got Active Campaign and group leads and whatever, what between Des, you and Katie and whatsoever and so on, I have a whole page of things I've got now.
Yeah.
And so now I receive emails or have emails from people which they have not given me specifically to be part of my blog or be part of. So can I just add them into Active Campaign?
Yeah, so the way that it works, so if they're in your Facebook group, if one of the questions as they join the group is, do you want to sign up for my, give me your email address so I can send you a freebie or whatever, you can add those in. That's not a problem with that at all. If they're an existing customer, so if they've ever bought anything from you, you can add them in as well. Because Alex did a brilliant GDPR masterclass for BBS, which I'm actually going to get her to do in here, just so that I can pinch it. Not that any of us don't have access to it, but just so that we've got it. Actually, Julie might need it. As long as that person has a legitimate interest in what you are sending them, and there is an unsubscribe button, which, because you're using Active Campaign, there is. Every email that you send from Active Campaign automatically has one. You are okay with adding. If you've got their email address because they've either bought something from you, or they've given it to you in some way, shape or form, through a lead magnet, through your Facebook group, through your blog, like a sign up or whatever, you can send them emails. There's no issues.
Yeah, anybody who's ever booked a class with me or a live coaching session through Acuity I have their email.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. So I will just keep on posting and showing my face and make videos. And another thing was also yesterday.
You did have a win. I saw your post. You posted somewhere. Where did you post? Was it in mine or was it in? Yeah, you got your first Stripe payment this week. Or was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, which is huge. Like, that's massive. You'd be like, oh, it's nothing big. That's massive. That is really, like, I remember my first win. Like I literally could tell you every single thing about that day, how amazing it was. Like, and it was tiny. Like, I think I made about a tenner or something. I was like, I don't care. Like, it's money. It's in the bank. Like, that
was my sports massage therapist's son, or my sports. He booked it for his 14-year-old, who's a rock climber, and I'm still flipping out about this class because he wants me to teach hip mobility in 1 hour to get this 14-year-old, you know, what am I?
Oh, yeah, I don't know what you mean about. That's perfectly
sure, and he will remember it, he says, and then if he can't, he will get back to you eventually. Right. If I would be bankrupt if all my clients would be fixed after 1 hour.
Oh no, tell me about it.
But what was I going to say? So anyway, I was thinking, then he says, oh, give me your banking details. And I easily could have typed into WhatsApp, here's my Starling account and whatsoever, and so on. But I thought, no, I've got Stripe, let's just try it out. So I said, just book an Acuity, it's all there. I was so excited.
It's absolutely brilliant. And that's like, once you get that first one, it sounds so cliche, but once you get your first one, you can shout about it. You can then be like, right, yeah, get, it's all about that buzz, that hype, those sharing those testimonials, being like, look how amazing this has been for this person. Like, you should book one too, because that's what it's about. If you need to just hype yourself up constantly and tell people how amazing you are, because that's why people buy from you. That's why people buy from anybody, because we tell them how amazing we are.
Have I time for one more question? So yesterday when I went to bed, how we are on our phone and whatsoever and so on. And even if we don't have the attention to scroll through it, but I started scrolling through Instagram, through all the other Pilates instructors and life coaches who are obviously so much better than me and whatsoever and so on. But I got stuck in one account where it was one video after the next and whatsoever. And suddenly thought, I don't really post on Instagram. I have the feeling I'm spreading myself so thin by doing this. I haven't got enough time to put videos there. So is it really necessary to show up, or can I just occasionally post on Instagram and just stick to where I am?
Stick to where you are. My advice is always nail down one platform properly first. So get your content right, get your audience, get that making money for you before you start spreading yourself too thin. So I would focus yourself on Facebook. If you want to post something on LinkedIn every now and then, that's completely fine, but there's no stress. Because the more platforms that you add, the more things that you add into your plate, the thinner you spread yourself across them until you have everything really nailed down. And speaking of Stripe payments, then things will be a lot easier for
great.
Yeah, is that all right?
Thank you. Yeah, thanks so much.
Not a problem. Wow. Oh, it's all right, it's Descript. I thought it was going to be something really cool. It's not, it's just Descript. Okay, where are we? Natalia is no longer here. So Darren, wait 1 second. Apparently Amanda's doing something with Mafia and I want to read it and I hadn't read it yet. Sorry, Amanda, don't worry.
I was
She's like,
thinking
oh
about
my
that as well. I saw Mafia and I thought, what?
Hannah, will leave you with one offer at a time. What? Here we go. Strats again. I open the message to reply, and the GIF he sent is some Mafia thing saying you want to work. You work for me now. No, I don't, honey. That's not how this works. Okay. Did a really good PDF finding, giving loads of ideas, not just for content.
His idea was to get 60 something insane like 64 piece of content out per day, which is ridiculous. But there's a lot of really, really good ideas in there that you go, oh, never even thought about doing that. I mean,
if you ignore the actual, this whole like we just have to do more.
Yeah,
that seems to be the theme from like every.
Yeah.
Sorry, Darren, male guru at the
top.
It's
true.
It's always like, you just need to work harder. I'm like, no, you just need to shut up. Like,
yeah, it's true. But like, if you can look past the whole, right, and you can get 64 pieces of content out a day, but you look at the way he repurposes things and just does simple things, it's like, wow. I've posted in Discord, but it's something like 60 odd meg in size.
Oh, right, okay.
So I'll find the link because it's one of these where he just gives it. He doesn't expect you to give your email, just gives it. So I'll find that for you and I'll put it in Discord.
Oh, great.
So I have a spam email address that I sign up for competitor stuff from.
Naughty girl.
Anywho, I told one of my one-to-one clients the other day, in my old job, I have a Gmail account that is 100% set up for taking stuff from from competitors, like PDFs and brochures and things. And I purposely made it with a silly name so that at least they know that it's spam. Like they're not going to, because when you get like web inquiries, when you work for a big company or something, 50% of them is just people downloading shit off of your website. They've got no interest in buying stuff from you. And they'll put the phone number 0123456789 because it's not a real number, but you have to put a number in. So I made a Google Mail, and my Google Mail is anitabush@gmail.com. And it made everybody giggle in the office because every time I would type in Anita Bush, and then the email address is anitabush@gmail.com. And I was like, how has no one else ever got this? This is brilliant.
I'd say I'd make one, but I just know it's already taken. Michael Hunt.
Yeah, there's bound to be like this.
That's got to be taken. I was watching Porky's the other day and it just made me remember, I remember that now.
Right, Darren, I'm definitely putting a timer on for you and me because otherwise we'll be here until midnight.
Midnight, 2 a.m. Thank you.
1 second.
I have to go in 2 minutes. So
that's all right, my love.
Please, I'm not going to be rude.
No, it's not a problem. Honestly, the way that these work is you can come in and out as much as you need. You don't need to be here for the full thing. And then exactly. Like Alexandra's mental. It's 2:30 a.m. with her. She's just absolutely batshit.
Christiane, I'll post the link to grab that PDF in Discord.
Pop it on the Discord.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, Darren.
And then the replay of all of these go on the dashboard anyway, so you can always sit and listen to my dulcet tones whenever you fancy. Apparently Becky oh my god, what is her surname? Dog Becky.
Dog Becky, that sounds terrible.
No, Becky with 20 dogs. Oh my god, what is her surname?
I can't remember her name.
Oh, she messaged me earlier. 1 second.
Dog Becky.
Dog Becky. Shuttleworth. There you go, Carol. Hannah Lullaby. Yeah, apparently she puts the these mastermind recordings on when she's in the car and just listens to them when she's driving, like an audio book. I was like, wow, okay. 1 second, Darren. My phone's gone mental. No idea.
Actually, that could be something. You know, you could actually do an MP3 version of this, which would take.
I'm still trying to figure out how to get the calendar working properly. Like, let's not go mad. Like,
It would take if I had the video.
actually, you
about
get an
2
audio file with Zoom when it
Yes, you
records.
Yes, you do.
So if
I
you
think it saves as an M4A, which is just
Yeah.
I can't remember what it is. This M4As are just I know what I mean. But I can convert that for you if you need to. It takes me seconds to do. Yeah, detach the audio. You can do that in Audacity. So you open Audacity up, drop the video on the timeline, and it just strips the video off and just gives you the audio. And then just save as an MP3 and boom, Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt.
I mean, the video's there, so it's fine. Right, Daz, let's go.
Go!
Yeah.
Okay. Come on.
Right, you can see it.
So,
Hey, gorgeous.
for me, so what I do, right, at the moment I've got in Social Beat. So 1 week I post about my live video course.
Mhm.
So I think I post on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays for that.
Right.
And then the next week I post about the power hours, same days. So I'll just alternate between the two. But I think my copy, especially on the power hours, is shit.
Right.
I'm just looking for some ideas about using better copy to sell the power hours, because I think I'm struggling on that one. I've always struggled on just really good. I can write very, very well.
Mhm.
But when it comes to like sales copy, that's one of my weak areas because I've never had to do it.
Yeah. So, overriding feeling within the pack and lots of people is that the first thing I heard when Hannah let me in was Darren yelling.
Yay.
No, it's all right. He's yelling at me, not at you, Stassi. It's fine. I think we need a copy brainstorming session at some point. I can't get to it with mine either. Carol, funny you should say that, actually. I am going to add a new channel to Discord, which is sales copy feedback, so that it's all in one place, so it doesn't end up getting like lost in the general business chat. And also what I was thinking of doing is a sales copy drop-in Zoom on
Suit you, sir.
probably every 2 months rather than every month. So it would work very similarly to this, but more of like a brainstorming sort of, people can come in and I'm like, this is what I'm trying to sell. Can we brainstorm some copy and can we help?
I like that idea.
Because sales copy is the thing that lots of people struggle with, and I get that. I think it's a habit. It's just a skill that you can learn. It's just about figuring out what sort of thing. So like when we were talking to Roz before about, it's finding those keywords that then trigger something in your head that allows you to then, and having a group and being able to brainstorm around that, I think will work really well. So I want to, I've been thinking of that this week.
That would be brilliant.
Actually last week.
Well, I've got 2 or 3 books on copywriting. So at the moment I'm reading again the 4 agreements, but I think I'm going to go on to one of the copywriting books.
Right.
Straight after.
What I would suggest for you, because obviously I see all your stuff, is
you stalker. I like that now.
Is trying different form. So do some short form ones as well as long form, because your long form posts are really good because it's like you're talking to somebody. Amanda, I was bitchless today.
Amanda, you're a fantastic list bitch.
Honestly, she's the best list bitch.
She is.
But yeah, so long form posts are definitely like your strong point, because it's talking. It's like you're like me. You're right. Like,
I'm improving them now because I'm starting to put even more of me and my quirky thought process into them.
Exactly. Sales posts, however, for me, my sales posts work better because I'm the same as you. I write for the gods. If I'm writing like an empathy post or a mastery post or something, I love like waffle, like I love it. The sales posts that convert best for me are the short ones. So that are literally like, do you have that problem? Yes, book a power hour. That's it. Like something super short and snappy, because it's exactly the same as the whole number of clicks. The more they have to read, the more chance you have of them switching off.
Yes.
And the more chance you have of them not actually getting to the point, which is the call to action, which is buy my shit, basically.
Yeah. And what I tend to do is put the call to action right at the end. But then if you look at, say, a sales web page, it has it multiple times.
Yeah.
Flowing
a landing page, it will have like a good landing page.
That's it, yeah.
Should have the call to action button, the buy button, right at the fucking top. Like right at the top.
Down, 2/3 of the down, right at the end. It's everywhere, isn't it?
Constantly, because realistically, you need to capture every single type of person as they're going through that. Facebook post, you don't have that. You don't have that luxury. That, I mean, you could put the link in multiple times or something.
No, but you can put, grab one of my power hours, like
like constantly.
Yeah.
But what I would suggest for you is trying some much shorter form ones.
Okay.
So there's the kick-ass sales post guide in the bonus resources on dashboard.
Okay.
And literally it's just 4 things. So for me, a sales post should just have 4 things in it. What problem is it that the client has? How does their life look afterwards? How are you going to solve it? How much does it cost? Or like, how do they book it? That's it. So it can, for you, it could be something literally as simple as
literally like
has imposter syndrome kicked your ass? Like, have you struggled to do anything today because of your, like, is your imposter syndrome kicking your ass? Just imagine how much money you could have made today, or that you could make this week, if you weren't worrying about what everybody thought. Why don't you book a power hour Excel with me? Here's the link. Like, I can do that in a power hour Excel. Here's the link. Doesn't need to be any more than that.
I like that. So now,
there you go. Svetlana wants one.
And okay, then I shall write that exact copy and let's get you on there.
We're not pitching to PAP members.
So I shall write that down, and Svetlana, it would be lovely if you'd read it.
So if anyone feels inclined, that's not a problem, but we don't.
I know. So yeah, I can do that, and it's going to be good practice for me as well to actually try some short form stuff. So I'm going to stalk your stuff, because you're really, doesn't matter if you say you're really good at the long stuff, you're good at the sales as well. So
it's kind of my business. Like,
exactly.
They're not all brilliant, but like, I'd be, if they were all shit, it'd be a bit crap, wouldn't it? Like,
they're better than mine right now. So I'm gonna like stalk yours, and even might steal some ideas. But not steal the copy, but you know, because that's just wrong. And so there's that, and then I think I told you, didn't I? I'm thinking of, well, I am going to do a workshop just on imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Now I'm just wondering, should I do the live for like 37 and the replay for 59, or should I put a bit more? Because I'm sure you're going to tell me more.
What you could do is sell the first 5 or 10 slots for 37 and then put the price up to 47 after.
Can you set that up in Calendly? X number at this point, and then it goes up. I'm not sure you can.
Calendly's like, Amanda hates Calendly, so she's going to pipe up in the comments being like, Acuity's better.
Is it really better?
Acuity, you can do, yeah, she really hates Calendly. So with Acuity, you can do discount codes.
Right.
Well, you can't in Calendly. It's the one thing I can't stand. Yeah, exactly. So Calendly doesn't have promo codes. So what you can do is that you could set the session up for like $47 or $49 or whatever. Yeah, Carol uses Book Like a Boss. There's loads of them, to be fair. The only reason I use Calendly is because it was the first one that I found and it worked, so I went with it. I might swap, to be honest. Like
because it doesn't take much to just change an embedded form on your website and link it to people. Oh, I have.
I literally don't even have that. I just send people's Calendly because I couldn't give a shit that it's got the Calendly stuff around the top of it. Doesn't bother me. Before that, people can buy before they book, get an order code so they can buy spots as a gift. Oh, okay, Amanda, you might have sold me then.
Wow.
Yeah, I might have to change to Acuity then. Okay. But yeah, I mean, if you are going to use Calendly for the short term or whatever, the way that some people do it is that they set two that you have to do one as the number, and then the second one doesn't send them a Zoom link automatically. You embed it in the email.
Yeah.
So you just copy the Zoom link from the first thing into the email of the second one, and it is a different link to book through for the same date and time. So there is a workaround. It's not the nicest or slickest one, but there is a workaround.
Do you think 37 for the live? It's going to be about an hour and a half, and then you've got Q&A at the end of that. And I'm going to go quite deep into imposter syndrome.
47 then.
47
then.
47, and then maybe
49.
what? 47 and say 67 for the to grab it like after the fact.
Yeah, start with that. Like you could even do the first five slots for like 44 or 40, like, or 43 or something. Like 44 for the first 5, and then after that it goes to 49. Just so that, like, if you want to do it that way around, it personally for masterclasses that does it works as selling people, like as a selling tool for masterclasses.
But if you've got like a sales page, that's going to be difficult to do, isn't it? Say for it to automate, right? The first 5 is going to be at this price, and the next everything else is going to be at that price.
Do you realistically?
And this is just say the first 5 is going to be this, and like if the next 12 people grab it at that, then so be it.
Well, I mean, yeah, you can go down that route. What I would say, and this isn't a harsh criticism of anybody, because it's how I sort of thought of it for me, is that the majority of us at the moment are not going to be selling out a 100 space masterclass in 24 hours. It's going to be, you're going to be promoting it for 2 weeks beforehand, or like a week beforehand or something. So they are going to come in gradually. So then you can change things. You can go and change
it as a time thing instead of a number of people thing.
You could do it as a time thing. Time works just as well, to be fair.
It's a lot easier.
Hours,
like
to do action bonus. First 48 hours, this is what it is, and then after it changes to something.
And then all you need to do is go into the Calendly page and just change the price, and that's it, done. Like if you say right, 4 days it's going to be at this price. After that it goes up. Then when it gets to the 4-day thing, just change.
To be honest, I'd look at, because I love Calendly for individual things like one-on-one stuff, but masterclasses, the one thing that it does fall down on is the whole using FOMO to sell stuff. So like limited numbers, etc., because it's a chew to make it work. I think we're actually
talking ourselves towards Acuity at the moment.
I'm very tempted to actually go to like, I'm gonna have a look at Acuity tomorrow.
Really?
Yeah, I'm gonna have a look at it.
And then I'm going on to Acuity like on my iPad now,
because I just think it's like, if Acuity is the sort of thing where you could set up a code that expires after 48 hours or something, and then you put it on the post, and then when someone goes to try and use it 3 days later or 4 days later or something, it's made for like hairdressers and gyms and stuff. Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, if it's built for hairdressers and gyms and things, then it's bound to be a lot more flexible than anything that was built for business owners. Because basically, us poor business owners are always left with the runt stuff. But yeah, but that's what, so I would suggest for you, I'm just conscious what time we've got. Oh yeah, 55 seconds. So for your
Perfect.
sales posts, have a go at shorter, punchier
Yes.
sales posts. The same thing that we said to Roz, if you want to brainstorm those first lines in Discord, I'll put the sales channel up tomorrow so that we can start doing that together. Because realistically, for everybody, the most important line on every single sales post is the first one. If
Yeah.
the first line doesn't catch anybody's attention, they ain't gonna read it. It doesn't matter if you've got the best copy in the world underneath it, they ain't gonna read it, and they're definitely not gonna book it.
And looking at it, the price of Acuity to take payments is about the same as Calendly Pro.
Right, okay. So
Pay monthly is $15, pay annually works out to $14 a month. That's all right.
sorry, I was just having a female moment at the cute child that just appeared on Magda's screen.
I'm the child. Aww. He's a baby. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. My time's up. Thank you very much, lovely.
No worries, lovely. And last but not least, Magda.
Yay. For the first time, yay!
How are you, my
He
love?
just come to kiss me because he's going to bed. So yeah, I have a question because I want to discuss like my value ladder, and I would like to ask for your input and then some more like following questions. So because I'm redoing my website because like my hosting expired, so I had to move everything to the new one, and then like, you know, I'm just thinking like how to structure it in terms of like logical progress.
Yeah.
So I have power hours. I have VIP days, however, I have not sold those yet because the service is not finished, like from my point of view, like, you know, because they require different like contracts and, you know, like paperwork and stuff. So that's that. I'm planning to do more like one-to-one programs when I'm taking somebody like on 6 weeks journey and we set up all the systems that they have, and that will be high ticket. And I also have like my current done for you that are like kind of continuing from the VA services. So that's my, you know, thingy for now. Then I have like different idea for the, you know, Black Friday that we had on the last week with the desk, which is something totally different. And it kind of like drips into VIP's, like, I don't know, group program that I think I will, it's not set in stone again. It's something like, you know, like maybe 2 or like a bigger session, 3 or 4 hours of setting up either MailLite or Active Campaign or designing like maybe ConvertKit, depending what people will choose. And there will be like, let's say launch event, but I have not decided because like this is also new and everything. So I'm just like, you know, juggling all those ideas and, you know, things in my head. And, you know, I think there's a lot of logical, like, you know, progress. So, you know, I might be onto something.
Love it as a value ladder for you. I think that's a really good, like, because I think all of it leads into, so it's not just a ladder, it's very much it's like a pie but cut into like circular segments rather than that way around. So it's like all of them, you could easily go from a power hour all the way up to the 6-week journey program. You could go from a power hour to the VIP day. He's so cute.
Sorry, come on.
I was gonna say
one more time. Okay, go baby.
Bless him. Yeah, so there's so many like different routes that people could, they can either go through each, like all 3 of them, or and even they can go through all 3 of them, and then those people who have done that 6-week thing, you can then also keep them as a retainer for, you know, ongoing support, etc. So there's even the follow on from that. The same with all of them. So that is the one thing that I would kind of put along the side of the value ladder, is this idea of like a one-to-one retainer, but maybe not as done for you, because obviously that's more of the,
you know, actually on the website right now I have like you know, power hours, then there is a like done for you, but in terms of returners. So I'm not doing like one-off. I mean, if the project is big enough and it's interesting for me and it's like, you know, bigger value, then yeah, because usually there is like follow-up stuff, you know, and I have a contact with clients, so it's fine. But I want to focus on returners and just getting those people. So I have those kind of like put on the website as well, and then I have a VIP. So yeah, and then it's just like, again, you know, my, you know, our relates and everything. So I've been like, you know, progressing since I've started. I started on, you know, charging £20 an hour, and it was 2 years ago. Now I'm almost twice as much. But I know it's like, and again, it's like, I'm so worried that if I, you know, increase those prices, there might be a period where will not have clients and like, you know, money in the bank.
Yeah. So I don't know if you were on when I was saying about like, it's something that I am running this month for everybody, because this is clearly something that we all need to have the conversation about. The less you charge, the more clients you need. Simple as. There is no like logical brain. If you're charging £10 an hour and you need to make £1,000 a month, then you need 100 hours worth of work. If you're charging 100, you only need 10. It's really simple maths. So yes, you might lose clients. There might be people who go, oh, I don't want to pay that, or oh, I'm not paying that. But depending on how much you increase it by, that doesn't matter. Like if you double your client, you double the amount you charge and half of your clients drop off, you're still making the same amount of money, but you're not having to work as much. The amount you currently charge is a VA rate, like is, you know, cheap and cheerful VA rate. It's still a VA rate. And technical VAs can charge way more than that, you know, like 50, 60, £70 an hour, because it's technical stuff that you're not just, it's not VA work in the sense of, oh, can you copy these things into a spreadsheet for me? You know, can you just type this post into, like, you are setting up systems for people. You are doing proper tech work for people. That's not a VA's thing. That's like operations management stuff. Yeah, like Alexandra said, it's essential. People's businesses can't run without those systems. And there are a lot of people out there who cannot fucking do it and don't want to do it. And also, like, realistically, there's a huge portion of us that I can sit and do it. I just have absolutely no inclination to. I can't be bothered. Like, it's just not me. So I've outsourced because I don't want to do it. And actually, that's the people that you kind of want for your done for you service. It's not the people who are at the beginning of their journeys and sort of trying to, oh, I just want like a couple of hours just for you to sort of teach me how to do things. You want the clients who are making enough money that they just go, how much do you want? Tell me how much I owe you every month. Like, I'll tell you what I need you to do and you just send me a bill. It's fine. And that's about positioning. That's about showcasing your, like, which you know and you can do and you are fantastic at, is just taking, like Darren said, it's kind of just putting that little annoying voice in the back of the head that's going, but what happens if it all goes to shit? And just sort of saying, shh, no, it's fine. We're going to try. Because what's the worst that happens? You put your prices up, it doesn't, no one buys it, and you put your price back down. Okay. It's not a failure. Just didn't work. And also, just because it didn't work for one client doesn't mean it will never work. It just means it wasn't right for that person. There's don't know if you've seen my stupid Instagram reel that Biber's obsessed with and made me sing during my challenge, that has the line like, it's out of your budget, it's not overpriced.
I think I know which one.
And it's the best way of remembering things, is that just because you put your price up and somebody cannot afford it, does not mean that it's overpriced. It just means that that specific person cannot afford it.
Mm-hmm.
So then you need to then you put yourself in front of people that can afford it. And the more that the higher your price is, the less people you need to be able to afford it, to make the amount of money that you want to work, and so that you can spend more time with the little one and actually doing stuff you want to do, rather than,
not being glued to the computer all the time.
Yeah. And like Svetlana says, nobody tells a lawyer that they charge too much. I mean, I have in the past, but like, that's just because I'm cheeky and I'm like what? But yeah, you don't, you need it. If you're going through something that requires a will to be written, for instance, you don't quibble the price, you just pay it because you need it. You know you need that. So for your done for you stuff, I think you've got lots of scope to increase. And I'm not saying email every single one of your clients and go, FYI, my prices are now 4 times higher than they were before, because
and like, again, what's the
clients, so
like, do you increase the prices once a year, or what's the like? Because I think I did increase them in March this year.
Okay, so
£5
for your retainer clients, do you have a contract term for them, or is it a rolling 30 days?
I mean, it's just like, I have the same contract for everybody when I start to work with them, but just like, if we go for the retainer route, it's just like, then I agree, like, make an, because all the conversation in the email also counts towards like, paperwork and everything. So I just agreed that like, this is the amount of, that many hours per month, and then they pay me. So.
Okay, so what I want you to try and include from now on, if you do take any new ones, is to put a term to that. So say this,
like a revision after.
Yeah, so you say for the next 3 months, this is how much it is per month. And then after 3 months, we can assess your needs, and also that then allows you to increase your rate as well. And you can do that as much as you want. Like, I've worked for companies that literally up their prices every month of their hourly paid staff, because they've got a market for it. People will pay it. No, I'm not saying like double your price every month, but an extra couple of pound, or an extra £5 or something every now and then, every 3 months, fine, or every 6 months, easy. But yeah, like Svetlana says, I think for what we want to try and do for you, or like the vision that I have for you personally, is that your done for you stuff becomes the desirable, I want to be able to afford that. I want to, like, it's an aspirational thing. It's not that, oh yeah, everybody can have Magda do everything sort of thing, because you are creating this value ladder of you teaching people or helping people to set things up so that they can then go and do it themselves, which then provides that lower valued stuff. Even if it's a high ticket 6-week program, it's still like, so for me, for instance, my 6-week coaching program, which is now becoming 12 weeks, depending on who people like, how people want it structured, that is still cheaper than a monthly retainer of me from a consultancy point of view, because coaching is me teaching you how to do it and teaching you how to do things. Consultancy is me being your finance director. So you don't have to make any decisions. You just paying me and I tell your staff what to go and do. And that means you then have people that kind of can graduate all the way through it as a whole value ladder. And that retainer it can sit alongside the whole thing, because there will be people who come to you for a power hour and then go, do you know what, just take my money and just do it.
I've heard them. So.
Yeah, the same with VIP days and stuff.
And then does mention like, he's posting about this offer this week, and the next week he's like promoting something else. Like, how would you advise, for us to do that in terms of like, and also following Disrupt content planner from there? So
yeah, so I personally would do it less frequently than every week. So I'm the person who I tend to promote something for a month and then promote something else for a month. Also because I'm really lazy and I follow Des's Disrupt Planner. So I just do 4 weeks of promo for each thing. Because, night Anna, people don't see it. So what can happen is that people just see one post per week. So it looks like you're just kind of flitting between 2 different things. Whereas if it's 2 to 4 weeks, it's more of a solid continuous block of something. So personally, that's what I do. But I also run in launch cycles now. So I don't really actively promote things too much outside of my 2 big products, which are my program and my membership now, just because I'm basically copying Des's entire model for her business. Because as soon as I took one look at it, I went, yeah, that's exactly how I would always run an online business. Like I have on Facebook, I alternate between program stuff and membership from a content, or I will from now on. Now I've had both and I have the challenges. And I run in 3-month sprints. So a month off, then a month of promo, a month of challenge. But this month I will be launching like back end of this month, once I've given everybody a couple of weeks to sort of chill from me spamming them with the sign up for the pack. I'm launching my version of Power Hour XLs. And oh, bye Stas, it was nice to see you really briefly. I've missed your face. Bye. Yeah, so I will release something for like a week where it's like really limited, but then I have my pin post on my profile that it literally says these are the ways that you can work with me, and I do get work from that. Like I get messages being like, oh, I've seen that you do mastery calls, I see that you do one-to-one, what have you. Just because I'm overly conscious, I don't know, but for me it seems to be working at the moment, is that of not promoting something absolutely like constantly, like, because otherwise it just becomes noise for people. If that's all they see from you is sales posts, all they see is like one thing after another, it's like, well, which one should I buy? Which one do you want me to buy? So I would pick something, follow the Disrupt Planner, pick something, and then follow the Disrupt Planner, if that makes sense. But for you at the moment, I would really be pushing your Power Hours, because I think they're invaluable for people. The amount that you can help somebody with in an hour is huge.
True. And
both Facebook and LinkedIn.
I have some, clients like about the masterclass, the Asana thing. The last one I was promoted, here and on Instagram, on the LinkedIn, and all the people came from LinkedIn, which was like, I was like, wow, which I'm not present at that much, but I started just like repost the same stuff, and
yeah, that's essentially all I'm going to do, is I'm going to start promoting the 2 things, like the same thing over 2, but my Power Hour XLs will only be for the Facebook market, I think. And my mastery calls will be for the LinkedIn market, just purely because I want to set myself at a higher price point on LinkedIn than I do on Facebook.
Yeah, people have money on LinkedIn, so
yeah, it's like starting price of $450. If you want an hour and a half of my time, that is how much it costs. Whereas obviously on Facebook, it's it's a different market. So, well, there's a lot of crossover between the 2, but I'm promoting coaching on Facebook, whereas I promote consultancy on LinkedIn.
So. Okay, thank you so much.
Does that help?
It was really great. Yes.
Good. I am glad. Right. I think most of my future clients are Facebook. Yeah, I think for a lot of us, the majority of our, like, as much as like, it's actually funny because the more that I think about it, the more there are people who, like, LinkedIn is a lot better as a marketplace for selling than I think people think it is, because
Yeah.
it's such a it used to be such a recruiter place that everyone was just like, oh, well, it's just purely recruitment, it doesn't matter about anything else. Whereas, like, I now know people who are making serious bank on LinkedIn who are like florists and who are like dog walkers and stuff, because every VA or every personal assistant like literally turns around and says, oh, my MD needs a dog walker, or my finance director needs flowers for his missus next week, so I'll buy up. Like, and because they can be on LinkedIn all day and not get shouted at for like browsing socials, that's where they go to and things. The other thing with LinkedIn, I want you to remember, this is something I got told and made me really like remember things, is that only 20% of people on LinkedIn actually post. 80% of people are just lurkers on LinkedIn, and they lurk and they buy, but virtually nobody posts on LinkedIn. So if you are posting, you are in like the top percentage. I think it's like 20% have ever posted, and like something like only 10% post regularly. So if you're like posting regularly, even, and when I say regularly, like once a week on LinkedIn, you are still in like the top 10% of people.
I have Social Bee posting every weekday on LinkedIn, but very, very little engagement, if at all.
I think you know,
sorry,
just like I'm on LinkedIn since like basically I started, and I did Helen Pritchard's, you know, mastermind and everything. So I've learned everything about LinkedIn that there is. So it's really invaluable, you know, resource. But I found that like if you're, you know, building engagement, commenting on people's stuff, it also helps you. So, but again, you have to split yourself between two platforms. So that's, you know,
that's exactly why, like, I think I've actually had this conversation 4 times today now, not just on Masterminding, but with like different people and different clients, saying like, make sure you have one nailed before you start trying to spread that, because if you know that your Facebook is going to make you money and is going to like, you can just churn posts out and you can get those launches and stuff going, brilliant. Then start looking at expanding to Instagram, then look at Pinterest, then look at LinkedIn. But don't, like, if you're literally making $500 a month, don't be trying to spread yourself over loads of them. Get yourself to a nice stable income every month before you start trying to diversify. The same with offerings and things. It's like, if you've got something, that's like, make the money out of it, get yourself to a decent income, and then start adding extra stuff in, rather than like constantly coming up with different. It's why my entire model is make use of what you already have before you start creating shitloads of new things. So all of your value ladder, Magda, is exactly the same thing, just in a different format. So it works. It works perfectly. You can either talk to me for an hour about the one thing that you want to solve right now, and we can do it on a call. So like setting up an automation for something on ActiveCampaign, for instance. Like, for some people, that will take you an hour to go through and understand like different tags and lists and, you know, and all that stuff. Your VIP days is, right, let's do it all in one hit. Let's get it all done, because you've got a launch coming up and you need everything to be done. And then your 6-week program is, let's do it all, but we're going to spread it out and we're going to take a bit more time over everything. It's the same core things. It's just packaging it differently for different people. I really need to battle my addiction to masterclasses. Yeah, like I just want to sit and do masterclasses all the time, which is why I'm now glad I've got a membership, because I'll just do them for you lot. But yeah, it's about trying to kind of keep a little bit more consistency and just try and push those things out. But I really like your value ladder, and I think, and your done for you stuff needs to be more expensive.
Yeah. I'm gonna work on that.
Yeah, I mean, and I know it's easy for people to sit there and be like, well, just double your prices. Like, it's not my bank account. Like, like, I get that. Like, and I would never say to people, just go and do it now, right now, unless I know 100% that it is not going to affect your income. I wouldn't say that, but I will say you should double your prices, because you will still get clients, maybe not instantly, but longer term. So just have a look at it and have a think of it. And if you take nothing else from your done for you stuff, just put that caveat in of for the next 3 months, so that you've always got that
I
get
wrote it
out of
down.
jail free card.
So gotta not.
I just sold yearly membership. Fuck yeah, Alexandra. There you go. Ready to sleep. Yes, it's now 3:10 with you, Alexandra. So go to bed. Now you've made $300. Not 300 quid. You've hit your daily target. So you don't need to sell as much tomorrow, because you've already made it before you've even gone to bed. But great. Great. Well, I think that's everybody on the list. So have a fantastic evening, everybody. I'm going to go and see my husband now he's back and apparently fully clothed. So
Thank you.
but have a lovely evening. I'll pop the recording up tomorrow on Dashboard. Okay. But have a lovely evening. Bye, guys.